Degenerate art ain't what it used to be. When you hear the term degenerate art, what do you think of? Well, for me, I think of the famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it, the exhibit that was put on by the Nazis in the early part of their regime. I think it was 34 or 35, something like that. They had this traveling exhibit, and they would go from place to place to show off the art that they had basically seen to it that would be banned, that the new Germany with its new values would not accept. And their notions of degenerate art included a lot of things like cubism, abstract expressionism, most forms of modern art where things were weird or distorted or, ugly or creepy looking. They wanted art, of course, that was encouraging, that was beautiful, and that, to their minds, fit the standards of health, contributing to the health of the nation as opposed to degenerating the degenerating the faithful with that crazy Casbah sound, as the Clash would put it much later. They didn't want that, and they saw these particular things as examples of degenerate art. Now, whatever we think of Cubism and other things that the Nazis put on display as examples of degenerate art, I'm afraid that they really hadn't seen nothing yet. I mean, if they thought that art was degenerate, and I'm not going to be talking right now about whether they were right or wrong, or to what extent they were right and to what extent they were wrong. And in general, I'm not, somebody who is in favor of banning art. I'm an anti-censorship kind of guy. But on the other hand, I get that when aesthetics mean a lot, you want to form a nation, a new nation. Your idea, what Hitler, was obsessed with aesthetics. He grew up on Wagner, and there's a book that goes into a lot of detail about this that's very interesting. But I can't remember the title of it right now. Maybe some of you will shout it at the screen for me. But I think more than any other world leader, he was somebody who was obsessed with art and obsessed with aesthetics, and of course he was an artist during the sort of boho time in his life after his mother's death, before the war, when he was living in Vienna, not really sure what he wanted to do with his life. But he also wanted to go to school and be an architect, and as I said, he loved Wagner, other forms of music. So he had particular ideas. He and his cronies had particular ideas about art and what it should be. And I think that's okay. But I mean, I think it's okay to have ideas about art and what makes for good art, and as opposed to bad art. And that bad art can certainly have a bad effect upon people, the same way that the influence of somebody with a bad sense of morals has a bad effect on people. Art can function certainly in the same way. But again, degenerate art to them was cubism. And in our age, in our day and age, it's gone much further than just weirdly distorted shapes of people. or other things that caught the ire of the Nazis. Today we have billionaire CEOs of organizations that are above groups, mega corporations like Balenciaga and other high-end fashion outlets. And we've talked a lot about Balenciaga and their sicko ads, but I also recorded a video not long ago where I talked about the kind of art that's auctioned off by, again, this group that is above Balenciaga and has these regular auctions where they cater to their base, which is the very rich and those who pride themselves on having the correct aesthetic, of being properly aesthetically formed. And what does it mean to be properly aesthetically formed today in the minds of these people? Well, in that prior video that I recorded, and I'll provide another link below to the article that I was using when I was talking about this, because it contains pictures of sculptures that I would not want to show here. Not only because they are indecent and appalling, but also because I get the feeling if I showed them that it would be one of those classic, gaslighting kind of moments where YouTube would say, "You pervert! You're showing this. You're showing these totally inappropriate things." When what all I'm doing is exposing exactly the kind of stuff that these people who are probably friends of Susan Wojcicki and Bill Gates and all the other rich and powerful types. I mean, these are their friends. This is the gang that runs together. These are the same ones who think themselves to be to be fit to control the rest of us, and to cull the herd when necessary. And this is the kind of stuff that these degenerate eugenicists are pushing. It's not just Picasso with his weird shaped faces and stuff. This is children, sculptures of children with penises for noses, naked children with erect penises for noses and vaginas for mouths, and so forth. I mean, if you're not disgusted enough by that description, you know, then don't read the article that I'll post below. But if you've got a strong stomach and you think you can take it, then read this article, because you'll see the kind of stuff that these people put on display. And this isn't just some sicko out there, doing his own thing in relative isolation or in some little niche, for a group of sicko appreciators. This is the very rich and the very powerful and the very influential. This is what they're into. They're purchasing these sculptures for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they're the worst kind of things. I mean, like again, why craft art like this, if we can even call it art? Why craft something like this? aside from having a, I mean, what kind of statement are you really making with pieces like this? It I'm of course very open to provocative art, but this isn't. I think somebody said this recently in one of my on my in one of my comments. This isn't provocative. This isn't like making you question things or whatever. This is just, I don't know. I don't know how it can be seen as anything other than desecration of children. I don't know how it can be. I mean, and sexualization of children and laughing at the idea of such things, and thinking it's funny, thinking it's a joke to depict children in this way. I just, one is just left speechless by it. It's evil. I think we can just say that it's evil. I don't have any reservations. Again, and I say that as someone who is. I mean, I'm definitely not a someone who. I'm not the type of person who just condemns anything out there that's a little provocative, or that's a little this or a little that or a little. I think I have a fairly, if you will, pardon the term, liberal sensibility as far as the appreciating art, appreciating cinema, appreciating literature, all those kinds of things. I'm not a fuddy-duddy, in other words. I'm not a prude. I'm not, somebody who thinks everything should just be one way, or else it's unacceptable. But this kind of stuff, you know. So, degenerate art ain't what it used to be, unfortunately. The bar has been lowered. I'm not sure how much lower it can get than where it is right now. And again, it's worth repeating. This stuff is being purchased. It's finding its. These artists are finding their patronage from the very rich and the very powerful. Just like Tony Podesta was buying up all those pictures of naked, distressed children and putting them up all over his house. I mean, that's not unusual at all, is it? That's not. You would definitely want a person like that running major political campaigns. A person like that, with whose taste in art is headless sculptures of tortured men, and also pictures of children being tied up and in distress and in bondage and things. Of course, nothing at all amiss at having somebody like that be a major political operator in the United States. Anyway, something is very, very rotten at the center of all of this, and we've got to take it down. By hook or by crook, one way or another. It's got to come down. That's all. Thanks for watching.